Belgrade having qualified for this UEFA Cup, and Porto having been knocked out of the Champions League at the final qualifying round by Anderlecht. Porto quarter-finalists in last season's Champions League, and a real disappointment. Poor start to the season as well, which has meant pressure on their coach Fernando Santos. And for Partizan, the player to watch out for is the captain, the number 22, the highly rated and much touted Sasa Ilic. Surely he'll be on his way out of Belgrade fairly soon. There are plenty of big clubs in Europe after Ilic. As for the Porto side, no Milan Pavlin, the Slovenian, and Drulovic is on the bench. Jorge Costa will marshal that defence, and Juan Pizzi, the Spaniard, will be up front alongside Pena. So a good atmosphere here, 47,000 the stadium seats. I'd say around about 30,000 here. Both these sides, previously European Cup finalists. Porto won the European Cup in 1987. Partizan were beaten by that wonderful Real Madrid side in 1966. So both sides with pedigree. And these two of the big clubs, Jerry Armstrong, in this UEFA Cup.
Absolutely. I think the UEFA Cup is really tough this year. There's a lot of good sides in it, and there's going to be 8 more good sides joining them not too far away. But this is a tough tie for, I think, for Porto. Very young Partizan side, and they're very, very technically gifted, especially Sasa Ilic, as you were talking about. And look out for the frontman Ivica Iliev, who I think is a very good player also.
Ilic 22, Iliev 20, emphasising Jerry's point. The oldest player in this Partizan side is Vuk Razovic, the right back, who's 27. Gives you an idea. Former player from Slavia and Sofia, and by far and away the most experienced. It was Paredes breaking forward. Watch Escudinha, the left back for Porto, loves to get forward, scored some spectacular goals last season. And when I say that Porto have had a disappointing start to the season, by the way, in Portugal, that's by their standards. They've played 3 games, won 2 of them, but they lost away at Belenenses, having beaten Benfica in their opening game. And having lost the title to Sporting last year, much is expected from Fernando Santos and co. It's Iliev. Čurković making the break forward. And they'll be roared on here. Porto would be happy to get away from here with a goal. I suppose that would be the first thing. A draw of any kind would be most welcome.
Well, I know what it's like to play in Porto, Dave, and they are very intimidating. I think you're right. If they can get away with a draw here, they'll be very happy to take Partizan back there, all square.
That's a Partizan, an early goal, and they could really apply some pressure. Referee is Paul Allerts from Belgium. Here's Escudinha. Much more effective going forward than he is defensively. Fouled there by Čurković. Both these sides finished second in their respective leagues last year. Partizan behind, inevitably, Red Star, who take on Leicester City in this UEFA Cup, having failed to overcome Kiev in Champions League qualifying. Porto, of course, behind Sporting. Drew 2-2 with Real Madrid in their Champions League game, having been 2-0 up at half-time. Radiša Ilic with the clearance. Looking towards Deco. Header from Jorge Costa. Taking the time taking the free kick. Foul there by Carlos Paredes into the back of Sasa Ilic. So much rests on his shoulders. Here is Ilic, very much the playmaker. Now Escudinha. Here's Pizzi. They're struggling to find a way through at the moment.
Well, I think the opening stages, especially away from home in Europe, you know you've got to keep it tight. You don't want to do anything silly, and I think it's going to take 10 or 15 minutes certainly for Porto to settle down, and you won't see them rushing forward in a blaze of glory, Dave. I think it's a question of use your head, use your experience, keep the ball, and see if you can get something out of the game.
There are other UEFA Cup matches going on as well as this one. There are plenty, of course, 48 ties in the first round, some having been played on Tuesday. And we'll keep you up to date with those. We won't give away the scores from the games we're showing later, of course. This is Rankovic, picked up by Sasa Ilic. Trying to get a yard inside the penalty area. The Brazilian, Aloisio. Wayward ball by Ivic. And forward they come again with Rankovic. Now he's gone down. It'll be a goal kick to Porto. Good run though from Rankovic. The more pressure they can apply, the more they'll get this crowd going. And that will be a factor. Escudinha. There's Pena. And Pizzi none too happy with the challenge. Deco is this wonderfully creative player, another Brazilian in the Porto side. And he can strike a free kick. It's quite a long way out though. Well, the flag was up against Pizzi. That's a fairly disappointing offside, really.
It's another tight one, I think, as well, because you can see that was rehearsed. Deco looking ball, pretending he's going to have a long range shot, and then chipping one over the top to Juan Pizzi. Next, Barcelona, Tenerife, Valencia. Spent a lot of time. He's actually Argentinian born, but he's got a Spanish passport now. But goal scorer, proven goal scorer.
He started off at River Plate, didn't he? And then spent so much time in Spain. Escudinha. A Porto throw. Talking of Spain, by the way, Espanyol beaten tonight already 2-1 by Olimpia Ljubljana, but they have got the away goal. It's a mild shock, I suppose. And so many scorelines coming in, we'll just try and give you the pertinent ones. Avoiding the matches involving Roma, Liverpool and Werder Bremen. You'll see later on Eurosport. That's Pena. Of course, Porto now without Mario Jardel, so Pena is a kind of replacement, but Jardel's pretty tough to replace.
He was unceremoniously dumped there, wasn't he, by Jeremic?
Again, it's Deco standing over the free kick. The same kind of idea, and this time he's onside. Deco's inside the penalty area, so is Pena, and so is Pizzi. The cross eludes all of them.
Well, it was Razovic, and that's disappointing. He was in a great position there, Dave, to put a good ball in, and certainly disappointed on that occasion.
And so Radiša Ilić can clear. 23 years old next week, the goalkeeper. Here's Ilić. Do well to get there, and he has done. Gets in behind Porto. It was Rankovic. Not a bad beginning, this. Fairly open game. Rankovic once more. Flag has stayed down. He wasn't sure which foot to cross on. In the end, he didn't manage to get across in at all. He has now. He's a tricky player, Rankovic. He's a proper winger, isn't he?
Well, he's quite small, low centre of gravity. You can see the number of turns he put in. I actually thought he tried too much, and in the end, it looked as if he was going to lose it, but he recovered the situation and managed to win a corner. And I think he's a firm crowd favourite here at Partizan.
You get that idea. Gerasimovski now to take the corner. That was well worked. And they promised Partizan a feast for eyes and soul in all the publicity before this game. I'm not sure it's quite been that yet, but it's been a bright opening. Rankovic, the corner from this side, easily cleared away. Now Jeremic. Now Iliev, with Ilić in the centre. It's good defending by Nelson, former Aston Villa player. And Gerasimovski. Here's Duljaj. That's Iliev. Now Nelson. George Costa, the Portuguese international, was in the side in Euro 2000. Escudinha. He lost his footing. He ended up giving the ball away. Now Chainho. And a foul on Iliev. Rankovic to take the free kick. He's the dead ball specialist with that left foot of his. Little left winger. Sends over it with Čirković. Drifted in by Rankovic. Now Ilić. Nice piece of skill. Duljaj. That was a promising build-up. Let's see. Not strong enough there with his back to goal. Now Duljaj. Very busy little player, Duljaj. Now Sasa Ilić. Peno will chase this. A pretty solid character, but that's well won by Čirković. Iliev is chasing. Put a bit of pressure on Ovchinnikov. And that was good pressure from Partizan. Sort of thing the crowd really appreciate that.
Well, certainly get behind them, Dave, here, and you're right. You know, they have lifted the tempo, there's no doubt about it. They're having a good little spell, but I haven't seen the goalkeeper of Ovchinnikov tested yet, and that's what they need to do. I think Porto will be quite happy if it stays like this.
Chinikov, the Russian goalkeeper, formerly at Alverca. New arrival. The problems surrounding Vitor Bayer and Porto. Whether he would be coming back to play here. It's Aloisio. Extraordinary that he's still playing at 37, Aloisio. If you're looking for Sasa Ilic, who's Iliev jumping. Now Čirković. And Escudinha. Čirković is not proving easy for Escudinha to get round. He thinks he was hit in the chest, Escudinha. Quite sure what happened there.
Well, certainly putting a lot of pressure on. Elbow comes back, I think catches him in the centre of the chest. Can't say if it's intent or not. And Čirković was pretty solid. I mean, it's been a good contest. He's trying to get down this left-hand side, Escudinha. And Čirković is doing a good job at stopping him at the moment.
It's a neat turn from Deco. Two of them making the challenge. Well, have to get that clear. It was Gerasimovski who dived in. He was riding round.
He's in a bit of problems now, I tell you. I think he's gone in bravely on the 50-50, Gerasimovski, and it looked as if Deco has caught him. And he's in a lot of pain, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not the type to stay down for no reason either. Not sure where it's hurting.
It seems to be his knee.
There's going to be a delay here. A very brave challenge by Marian Gerasimovski, the former Skopje player.
He had to make it, Dave, because Deco had just wriggled inside and looked like he was going to get into the penalty area. And I think if he gets into the penalty area and you touch him, being a Brazilian, I'm sure he'll go to ground pretty quickly, or he'll skip past you and try and get a shot on a goal. But got interesting because Sasa Ilic is the playmaker for Partizan, and Deco, the Brazilian, is the playmaker here for Porto.
Ilic has been unable to get into the game just yet. Result coming in elsewhere in the UEFA Cup. Slovan Bratislava 0, Dinamo Zagreb 3. Comfortable progress for them. Pizzi brought down by Trobok. It's a tricky game this for the Belgian referee to take charge of.
I thought it was a rugby match there with that challenge from Goran Trobok.
That was Deco. Deco has continued his run, and this is Deco again. At times in the Champions League last year, he really impressed Deco. He needs to do it more consistently. Iliev to chase this. Off Chinikov's clearance. There's no handball, that's what Pizzi was claiming. Strong challenge by Sasa Ilic, showing that there's more than one dimension to his game. And throwing goes Porto's way.
Well, every time Ilic seems to get the ball now, Dave, there's two players closing him down, Paulinho Santos and Chaino. They're going to have their work cut out because technically he's really wonderful. One touch, dribbling. I think a lot rests on him tonight for Partizan.
Now George Costa. I was just making sure it went out of play. It was one off Pena, and he in turn committed the foul on Jeremic. A little bit gingerly, but gets to his feet. Another of the 22-year-olds in this Partizan Belgrade side. Partizan had to deal with the loss of Mateja Kejman over the summer, who went off to find fame and fortune in Holland. It's a big loss as well. Ovchinnikov with the clearance. Chainio. Just away from Deco, for whom it was intended. That was Paredes, and now George Costa. And claimed rather dramatically by Radisa Ilic. Partizan really narrowly qualified for the UEFA Cup proper. They were beaten away in Malta by Sliema Wanderers, which was one of the shocks of the first legs, and then, well, they won comfortably here in the end by 4-1, but there were certainly a few flutters. Porto having got what looked not a terrible result in Anderlecht, losing 1-0, and couldn't score at home and went out of the Champions League. Can they score here? Well, that's a chance. It was Deco. And he just couldn't get over the ball. He's always going to scoop it over the crossbar. Cross there from Chainio.
He's not exactly the tallest man, is he, Deco? Had he been 5'7" or 8", he might well have got over the top of it and headed it down. But again, it was a good break, Dave, and again, I think they're playing the right type of football. Porto solid at the back, and on the counter-attack, they're going to prove a threat.
It's Partizan threatening at the moment. Left winger again, Rankovic. It's Nelson. Chainio. It's a fair challenge by Duljaj. This is Goran Trobok. Real surging run forward from him, and a good ball in as well. Well, no one can get hold of it. It dropped to Iliev. Vladimir Ivic was in there as well, and Nelson made the challenge. Still danger not over with Rankovic now. And what they'd give for a goal now, Partizan. And they may get one! And that was a real chance. Fell to Ivic. Just over the crossbar. An encouraging signs for Partizan here.
Well, I thought opportunity had gone, but it's another smashing ball back into the box from Čirković. You can see here, I was looking to see who he was trying to pick out, but first time ball back in, and Ivic heads over.
There was good pressure, I suppose you could say, from the defender, Jerry.
Well, he's a good defender, actually, George Costa. And the challenge from Fernando Nelson before that was even better. He had to get that last-ditch challenge in. It looked like they were going through to score. But it's a good spell of pressure. And Porto just holding firm at the moment.
The other Portuguese side who we saw in the qualifying round against Barry Town, Boa Vista, 2-1 up away in the Ukraine against Vorskla. I won't run you through all the results I said earlier, because by the time we've done that, the half will be over. There's so many of them. Now this is a Escudinha-like run from Čirković, and it's timed in. Great run by Čirković. and arriving at the near post and engulfed by his teammates now. Čurković's ball in, and the little touch. It looked like it was Iliev. Sasa Ilic it was who got the final touch as it was played in by Čurković. And Partizan have the lead. Halfway through the first half. And for their willingness to attack, they just about deserve it.
Well, just in the last couple of minutes, they got down the right-hand side twice and put good crosses in, and I think they were probably good value for it. I mean, I think Čurković was really getting some space there, and that telling cross, as you say, Ilic managed to nip across the front of the last defender. Toe poked it in as the goalkeeper was coming out. Disappointment from Fernando Santos, the Porto coach, but we got a game on our hands, and they've got some work to do if they're going to get back into it.
Well, it increases the pressure on him. If he was to stay like this, he'd certainly have work to do in the second leg. What matters for Porto is to get a goal. 2-1 would be a better result than 1-0.
Yeah, well, do Partizan sit on the 1-goal lead and hope that's enough, or do they go looking for more? I think the crowd's getting right behind them and they want more.
And they have to go looking for more, don't they? Now Trobok. This is Rankovic. It nearly dropped to Iliev. Escudinha's clearance. How ironic that Escudinha is renowned for getting forward, and the man he's playing against, Čurković, got past him and put the cross in for the goal. Real battle between those two, but Čurković is certainly winning at the moment. The goal was what it needed. Here's Deco. Well, whistle has gone there.
It's Pizzi's gone down. Was he looking for something, or did he try and take the central defender out?
Whatever happened, he didn't get anything.
There's a good point you've made, because the last 2 or 3 times that you were saying about Escudinha get down the left, he hasn't come back with his opposite number, Čurković, and he's profited from that. There's no doubt about it.
Flag up over on the far side against Rankovic. They do provide threats from either side, with Čurković pushing forward and Rankovic down the left as well. It's shown that he's much more of an out-and-out winger, but good going forward. Now Deco. This is Escudinha. Strong challenge by Vladimir Ivic. Escudinha with the throw. Chasing is Iliev. It's been an impressive part of Partizan's game plan in this opening half hour or so. The willingness to close down Porto defenders. Paulinho Santos. Now Escudinha. I don't know if it was meant to be a shot.
I'm sure it wasn't.
No problem for Ilic.
Trying to get his left foot round the ball and curl it round Escudinha. Not one of his better attempts.
Just about the perfect start for Ljubiša Tumbaković and his Partizan side. This would be a notable scalp for Partizan's history. Porto have much more recent European form. Still early days in terms of the tie, but we should remember, Jerry, that the Portuguese champions will no longer go straight into the Champions League, will they? And a result, if Partizan were to beat Porto in the first round of the UEFA Cup, that wouldn't help at all, would it?
Absolutely.
Bad time for Portuguese sides.
Just in saying that, though, I know how difficult they are at home, and I would suggest that 1-0 wouldn't be enough to go to Porto with. A long way to go, though, and they've certainly made a good start in the opening half hour. It's just gathered momentum. Initiative is certainly with them, and the crowd are really getting behind them as well.
Certainly not writing Porto off. It's just firstly odd to see them in the UEFA Cup, and secondly odd to see them struggling in it in the first round. Difficult draw for them, though.
Well, Iliev's not letting George Costa settle at all. He's putting him under a lot of pressure. I wonder how long they can keep this pace up, because the front two, as you said, Rankovic and Iliev, have worked their socks off, and the goal scorer Ilic is always looking to link up with the front two.
Escudinha managed to skip round Djurkovic that time. Oh, great piece of skill from Iliev. One back straight away, though. Well, that's Djurkovic. Snapping tackle comes in from Paredes. Iliev, what can he do with it? Djurkovic again on the overlap, and he has the beating of Escudinha once more if the cross is there. Time rather closer to Ovchinnikov. Now Deco. The goal has opened the game up. Here's Pena. No foul. The referee was thinking about it. And then Djurkovic felt the challenge and over he went.
This is definitely the contest of the game for me down the right hand side. You can see once again Djurkovic got 2 yards on Escudinha and put a decent cross in as well. And I'm sure that will curtail, because he's looking to play as a wing back, Escudinha, and that will curtail a lot of his runs. He'll certainly be pulled back a little bit deeper, and that'll suit Djurkovic, there's no doubt about it.
Touch side, Vitesse won 3-0 tonight over Maccabi Haifa of Israel. Maccabi down to 9 men in that game. Vitesse sitting very prettily. Tricky looking tie for them as well. Now Escudinha. He can get forward. It's about the furthest forward he's got all game. Nicely done by Razovic, the most experienced of these Partizan players.
I've seen a lot of Juan Pizzi, very potent finisher, but to be fair, neither he nor the strike partner Pena has had a lot of opportunities. They've been pegged back for most of this opening 32 minutes.
Cleared by George Costa. Pizzi winning the header but not finding Pena. Referee allowing play to continue. Real old tussle. I could say this is keenly contested.
I think that would be an understatement, David, if you said that. Some real challenges going in. It's going to be a battle. I think Porto know they're in a battle, and at the moment they're losing their battle, and maybe coach Fernando Santos is looking to make a substitution now, because he can't be happy with what he's seen, because they've been out fought in a lot of areas.
Well, hard fought but honestly fought this game. Referee giving the free kick to Partizan, and he gave it the other way in the end. See Fernando Santos though looking most perturbed. Celtic 2 up at home against Finnish side HJK Helsinki. Leicester City 0, Red Star Belgrade 1. Stuttgart 1, Heart of Midlothian 0. And what about this? Tirol Innsbruck 1, Fiorentina 0. These are all latest scores. And here Partizan Belgrade 1, Porto 0. Still 0-0 between Rzeszów of Poland and Inter. Find themselves in the UEFA Cup. And also Alaves of Spain against Gaziantepspor. Big names involved at this early stage, and a couple of big names a little shaky.
It's a tough competition, it really is. There's some fantastic sides in. And unlike the Champions League, where you've got 3 games to try and qualify, you know, you've got to do it on a home and away basis. One bite of the cherry. If you don't go through, that's it, you're out.
That's what European football's all about, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, it's a wonderful cup competition, I think.
Now Jorge Costa. Plenty of time for Porto over the tie. The goal here would be the thing. 10 minutes to go until half-time. They haven't really come close. Pena. Now Pizzi. Pizzi earning the free kick. Bit of experience there from Juan Pizzi. Making a change, Chainho is going to come off for Porto, and Drulovic, the Yugoslav international, coming on. Whether it's because Chainho has a knock, I certainly didn't get any reports of him struggling to make the side, and he looks okay, but Nando Santos deciding that Drulovic is the man for him. So, Vinko Drulovic, Yugoslav international, trying to put one over on the Yugoslav club, who lead Porto at the moment by a 0-0. Carlos Paredes for Pizzi. It's Drulovic. Paulinho Santos, Escudinha. Inevitably, Čurković in the way. In from Escudinha, but the flag up against Pizzi. Haven't really shown too much attacking threat, have they?
Nothing at all. I think we had one moment of excitement when Deco looked as if he was going to get in the area. With another opportunity where there's a poor cross from Jorge Costa, and that's about it. But that's all credit to Partizan. They've certainly been very solid, particularly Čurković, who I think's had an outstanding game in curtailing the efforts of Escudinha down this left-hand side.
It's a dangerous ball forward, looking for Ilic. Cut out by Aloisio. Nelson. Jorge Costa. Oh, and it was through to Drulovic, but the flag is up. Well, he knows that that would have been a significant goal.
He's smiling.
Given the situation and his nationality. And the whistle went very early. Iliev was jumping. That's Duljaj. Diving into the back of Pena.
He's worked tremendously hard. Dave Pena, been all over the place, really having a battle, having a go. Which I think you've got to do away from home. There's no easy results gained. Got to work for it.
Duljaj back there to take the throw. Got a lovely attitude to Partizan Belgrade, Duljaj. He came to the club in their youth system, and he, when complimented on his work rate, which he regularly is, says, why shouldn't I give my all to the club I came to as a little boy and dreamed of playing for, and still plays for. He's only 20, but seems to have a big career here ahead of him. It's nice when footballers have that kind of loyalty. Djokovic still battling and still just about winning.
Oh, it's the battle of the game for me. Djokovic has really worked Escudinha's first touch on that occasion, forced the error, was on top of him like a flash, and then got the free kick. And for me, he's definitely well on top in that contest.
A good solid first touch by Vladimir Ivic. Duljaj. Forward by Trobok. Elsewhere, Molde 0, Rayo Vallecano 1. There's a goal to go in. And Benfica also in action, drawing 1-1 away at Halmstad of Sweden.
Vallecano, the league leaders in Spain at the moment.
After one game.
Yes, 5 goals, goal difference.
He had early on last year as well. Jeremic's throw. Sporting Braga are currently the leaders in Portugal after 3 wins out of 3. That league tends to come down to the games between Sporting Lisbon, Benfica and Porto. Forward by Escudinha. Pizzi to chase. Clearance from Razovic as we go into the last 5 minutes of this first half. George Costa. Forward from Paulinho Santos. Pizzi is in the centre. This is looking dangerous. There's no quality on the cross. They might still get a chance though with Paredes. And Nelson was pretty slow reacting to that. Cleared away by Duljaj.
Well, Duljaj actually played everybody on, I think. Pizzi thought he was offside when the ball fell to him, and if he had reacted quicker, it was an open goal. But that's the best piece of play we've seen from Porto.
Might give them confidence, signs that they can break Partizan down, because they had shown nothing up till now. The goal kick, Nelson's boot, the last to touch it. Clearance by Ilic. Flicked on by Ivic. And then Sasa Ilic. There's Ivic. He's in a battle in that midfield as well, with that man Duljaj who's helping him out. Good pace from Rankovic. I was going to say good pace to keep it in. Now Escudinha. Judovic's touch rather letting him down. See Sirkovic pushing up on Escudinha there. Escudinha won't want to see too much of him.
I think psychologically he knows he's on top, and he's really turning the screws a little bit tighter each time. If they thought that was going to be their outlet on this left-hand side, I think they'll have to rethink it.
It so often is when you watch Porto play. Escudinha roams forward and has acres of space normally. Not so tonight.
Well, they're effectively playing 3 at the back to allow him to get forward. You know, George Costa's playing in there with Aloisio and Fernando Nelson, and that's about it.
I suppose that'll be something that Fernando Santos will be looking at now, and will maybe change things at half-time. Forward by Paulinho Santos for Pena. Now Paulinho Santos again, and Escudinha. Arriving stage left was Cirkovic. Iliev. Last minute of the first half, all very satisfactory for Partizan now. This is Trobok. Good cross in as well. It was Sasa Ilic waiting. Rankovic. Here's Duljaj. Ivic. Partizan fans encouraging him to get forward. Rankovic. Trudovic with the shove into the back of Čirković there. Into time added on. I think there'll be some as well. There's a lengthy stoppage at the start of the game for Gerasimovski's injury. Well, it's 2 minutes. It seems to be a bit longer than that, but I never can work out the extra minutes. Doesn't seem to bear too much relation to the stoppage in play. Partizan then lead by this goal to nil.
There's an injury there, and they're looking for to try and get the ball out of play, but Partizan want to keep playing.
Forward from Čirković. The corner right at the end of the half for Partizan. Razovic to take it. Hunched from Ovchinnikov and cleared further away by Deco. Now, Ivic.
Well, Pena's down. He's taken a very hefty challenge.
There's going to be another break in play.
Maybe there'll be more than 2 minutes extra time added on.
It's got to be now.
Yeah.
They'll be pretty happy with what they've seen, and Lovisa Tumbakovic, the coach of Partizan, will be too. Not too much you want to change, is that?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, you can see the change that was made there. Drulovic coming on the left-hand side to try and help out, which is where all the problems were coming. Escudinha, because Čirković was having a field day down the right-hand side. And I think that's technically why he's done that.
That's where the goal came from Čirković. The ball given back by Porto. And the 2 minutes is up, but probably 2 more minutes, will it? Here's Čirković. Well, there is the half-time whistle. Great half for Partizan Belgrade. Lead FC Porto would have been favourites coming into the tie by a goal to nil. Lovisa Rankovic with the goal. Halfway through the first half, Sasa Ilic needs to get into the game more. The star really for Partizan was Milivoje Čirković, right back pushing forward and the creator of the goal. Partizan lead by a goal to nil.
On that, I feel that certainly for the next 20 minutes they're going to be under the cosh. They've got to make sure, one, they don't concede a second goal, and two, see if they can get at the opposition at Partizan and create a few more chances, because Pizzi's had no opportunities at all in the first half.
We'll have another look at the goal that's put Partizan 1 goal to nil up. Or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll let's get underway with the second half here. Doesn't seem to be any changes. Pizzi and Deco over the ball. And we'll just confirm whether or not there have been any changes in a moment for you. Here is Deco. What do you think that Fernando Santos will have said to Porto then, Jerry?
I don't think he'll be too happy, and he knows that they've got to get further forward. They've got to create some opportunities themselves. and they've got to stop the threat that Šurković down the left or down the right hand side. They've got to stop the playmaker Sasa Ilić, who's been outstanding. Rankovic and Iliev have caused a lot of problems, and yet at the back, Razovic, Gerazimovski, Drulaj and Jeremic have not been troubled hardly at all, and that will be disappointing for the coach Fernando Santos.
That's Sasa Ilić getting forward again. Sasa Ilić just a touch a little heavy. I think he clearly needs to get more involved, and obviously knows it. Started very positively there. Penna battling in again. It's Duljaj. Duljaj continuing his run, but Escudinha gets back. The Russian Ovchinnikov. Now Jorge Costa. Forward by Nelson. Paulinho Santos was going for the return, but look who's back there. Sasa Ilić defending. Turn from Jorge Costa. All the way back to Ovchinnikov. Porto is taking their time here. Aloisio, the elderly Brazilian at 37. A few of those dotted around Europe. Just thinking about Donato as well.
Well, he's technically not Brazilian anymore. He's gone for the Spanish passport a long time ago, and he was Brazilian born, which is quite correct, Dave, but a bit like Pizzi. Spanish as well, but born in Argentina.
Older than Pizzi though.
Oh yeah, by quite a bit. Well, not quite sure about Donato's age. There's a conflict.
No one is,
that.
are they? Well, we know Aloisio's 37 anyway, or we think.
It's like how old is Finidi George, really?
Yeah, I know you do the same with your age, Jerry. You're nowhere near 28, are you? There's Aloisio. There's Escudinha. This is Deco. Immediately harried by Gerazimovski. Not allowing the Porto playmaker to play. Here's the Partizan playmaker Ilić. Well, they're trying to send that for Šurković, but not even he is that quick, willing though he is. That's the tale of the game so far. Field from Nelson for Jorge Costa. And Paulinho Santos. It's Deco. Good defending that by Šurković. It was a nice trick from Deco.
He hasn't bought any trick from anybody tonight, Šurković. He's been solid as a rock.
And it goes to Iliev. Well to keep possession there, Iliev. Now Sasa Ilić. Every time a Partizan player gets the ball, there's support. Duljaj losing out to Jorge Costa. Costa was complaining about something.
He wanted to take it quickly and he was prevented, but they're giving the ball away still too easy for me, Porto. They haven't really found a lot of rhythm. You know, we've seen the ball in the corner there for Deco, and again there was two players converged on him, Gerazimovski and Duljaj, and that's been a feature of the game for me, putting pressure on the Porto players, winning the ball back quickly and not allowing them to settle.
Gerazimovski to chase and didn't keep it in. Escudinha, he's capable of the long throw, but deciding against it. And again, very well and very calmly defended.
Well, it's another feature again. It was Drulovic on that occasion, Dave. As soon as he was controlling the ball, guess who? Šurković was on him in a flash and forced him to let the ball run out of play, and a goal kick. And again, no pressure being applied on Radiša Ilić in the Partizan goal, and I think he'll hope it stays like that for the rest of the game.
Flicked on by Ivic. Foul on Escudinho. Ivic suggesting that he got the ball. George Costa. And Nelson. Turn from Penna. Won by Duljaj. Touch from Iliev for Ilić. You'd have expected the main attacking threat to come from those two, but it's come from Šurković and Ranković, who combined for the goal. Now Porto, though, can push forward. And this is Penna. Flag was up. And Ilić did well anyway.
I'm not sure it was Penna was up, but definitely Pizzi was well off, Dave. At least there was some sort of a drive forward, trying to play a little pass in for the front two.
Gerazimovski. A bit of pressure from Pizzi. This is Sasa Ilić. A little more space than he thought there. Iliev skips away from a flying challenge from Paredes. Ranković just has to track back to get the ball. He enjoys running at defenders, doesn't he? And this is dangerous. Partizan throw, good pressure once again. And they're loving it. That cross could just have been hooked back a little further. Could well have been 2-0. This time, the throw-in goes to Porto. Looks more dangerous, really, in this half, Porto, but Partizan up.
That wasn't offside as well. Iliev was on that in a flash, and if his first touch had been a little bit better, that could have been embarrassing for Porto once again.
They're looking a little shaky, Aloisio and George Costa. Drifted forward towards Deco. Aim to Pizzi now. He won't sit down on the edge of the penalty area. It was Paredes trying to barge his way through. That's Paulinho Santos. Appeal for offside, and Šurković gets it clear anyway. Iliev, you jumped with his arm there, and so the free kick's been given. The Belgian referee, Paul Alerts. Again, it's Ranković just went too far in front of him. Trobok. There's space for Vladimir Ivic. Iliev in the centre. Comfortably cleared by Nelson. Nelson again for Penna. The referee's not standing for any nonsense. This is pace from Iliev. And Aloisio just getting back with the emphasis on just.
I think he was at full stretch there, Dave. I thought Trubok, to be fair, fouled Penna, but the referee was in a better position than we are.
This is the aforesaid Trubok.
It's deflected for a corner.
I wonder where the deflection came for a second, but it is a corner.
Another little dodgy spell of pressure they're having to sustain.
And this is where Partizan must sniff their chance, surely, to get a second goal. It's just about been worth it as well. Was that handball? Nothing from the referee. It's a half appeal from the Partizan players. Ivic. Tulliar's being hauled back by Deco, and referee's been very lenient there. Another rugby tackle, wasn't it?
It certainly was. To be fair, Delage has not really had too much of an argument with the referee. He's held his hands up, said, OK, I'll take the free kick, and he hasn't insisted there's a yellow card, but Deco's finding it hard to get into the game. Was easily turned there.
Not to get into the game, but he got into Duljaj. Ilic, rather wasted that. Rankovic. Well, the ball was played to where Rankovic would have been.
Well, he chases everything, Iliev, doesn't he? He's putting him under pressure, and George Costin. I mean, the momentum, the pace they've played at, Dave's been super. And again, I think from their point of view, Tubanovic is going to be very happy, but Fernando Santos is going to be very disappointed.
Penna wins the free kick. I mentioned how hard he's worked, but he's no Jardel and hasn't been too inspired, Jerry.
No. Absolutely.
Deco. Nor is he, really.
How do you replace Jardel, Dave? That's nigh on impossible.
He in turn replaced Hakan Sukur, of course, and I wonder if Galatasaray haven't got a better player now.
He started the season off so far. I tend to think they have.
Touch from Pizzi. And Pizzi's continued his run into the centre. Penna didn't see him. And that should be comfortable for Radica Ilic. Intelligent play though from Pizzi there.
Yes, it was. But again, they've been feeding on scraps, and you can see once again there, once Penna got the ball back to goal, it was Gerazimovski who was on top of him in a flash. And again, still been a feature. Their work rate's been superb, putting pressure on the opposition, winning the ball back off them quite easily.
That's in towards Iliev. Got himself into a good position. Let's have Drulovic there to win the free kick. George Costa. Sense that Partizan's willingness, Jerry. Porto are there for the taking. The tie is there for the taking now for Partizan.
They give themselves a big advantage with a second goal to take to Portugal. Oh, there's lovely
touch, and now Iliev. Now, is there anyone in the centre to support it? Does he need anyone? Iliev! Escudinha gets in the way. He did everything bar score himself or set up a tap in Iliev. Still, it's not over. This is Čirković. Escudinha defends that well in the end.
Well, he was looking for support. Smashing piece of play down here. Look at the clever little flick there from Rankovic, and away goes. Very single-minded. PSA gets in the box, and then he's looking for support. He tries to pull it back, and you're looking for more striped shirts getting into the box to support him, and there wasn't too many there.
Can't blame him for thinking if he pulled it across to be someone diving in at that near post. Rankovic. What a game he's having. That was Ivic. Ivic with the throw. Rankovic getting round his man. It looked like he was obstructed.
I think Nelson was just a little bit too strong for him and pushed him away.
Give this referee credit so far. He's not given a great deal, but at least he's been consistent with it.
Yeah.
Both sides could feel aggrieved at various points.
He's kept the game flowing, and that's added to the entertainment, definitely. Saying that, the players, Dave, haven't tried to dive or calling the referee too much, which is a nice feature to see for a change in the game.
Yeah, very combative, but as you said earlier, pleasantly combative, if there's such a thing. Nuno Capuccio is preparing to come on. Indeed he will. Paulinho Santos being sacrificed. Second substitution made by Fernando Santos, so what can Nuno Capuccio do? Certainly more attacking player, Nuno Capuccio. Now it's Iliev down at the other end! That's an excellent save by Ovchinnikov. And it came off the top of the crossbar as well, I think. Great effort from Iliev, so near to a second goal.
Well, gets read across, very, very powerful, strong. That's a great save. That is a great save from Ovchinnikov. Just flicks it onto the top of the net, but he skips past Aloisio. That's full stretch for the goalkeeper.
Still danger not over. They thought it was turned in for a second. It would have been an own goal as well, but it was side netting.
I thought that was another corner kick there. Trobok in the near post, little flick on. I'm sure it came off a defender last. But the referee's given a goal kick.
Good little spell for Partizan. Just sense that they have to make it count. And Porto can weather this storm, that might be significant. Forward by Aloisio. Now Drulovic. Fouled by Trobok.
Certainly obstruction. Maybe it's going to be a set play that they get some joy from. They haven't had any joy really from anything else, and I think Deco wants to take it. Is going to be a right-footed in-swinger, is it going to be a left-footer? Chance to get the big guns up.
And Deco standing over it, so's Drulovic. Indeed it will be Drulovic to swing it in. Header by Gerasimovski. Oh, it bounces back through. Flag was up. Brave goalkeeping again though from Ilic. He's done that twice now. But there was an offside decision. Not that he knew that.
What you've got to look at is how quickly, once the ball was headed up in the air, how quickly the Partizan back four pushed up that extra 2 yards and just left Pena in the offside position.
How refreshing it is to see a young side like this doing so well. I mentioned that there wasn't too much cynicism around Jerry, and that's probably got something to do with it, that they're wanting to play football, bless them, they'll learn. Throw in one by Nuno Capuccio. Back from him to Nelson.
Let's see Fernando Nelson pushing forward too much. He's been asked to defend a lot.
It's Nelson's swinging cross. And it's just able to leave it.
Well, Pizzi looks a very furlong figure in the middle there. He's had not even scraps to feed off. And he'll be very disappointed if he doesn't get at least one opportunity before the end.
Result, Halmstad 2, Benfica 1. Nantes have taken the lead away at Krivbash through Stefan Ziani. Partizan lead by a goal to nil here over Porto. Tumbakovic watching on. It was Rankovic who was penalised there. Capucho's ball. This is Pena. Flag again.
Dave, look just where the back four, they've all very, very solid on the edge of that 18-yard box. And I tell you now, Pena couldn't have been more than half a yard to a yard offside. And again, very well organised, well rehearsed, Partizan. This is a tough, tough tie for Porto.
It's getting tougher and tougher. And they might have had a second Partizan on a couple of occasions. Recently when Iliev broke forward. Again, no whistle from the referee, which may suit Partizan yet. This is Iliev. And still he's willing to work. Is there anyone arriving? No, there isn't. The only person in the centre was Vladimir Ivic. Now Aloisio, player down injured, but ball not being played out. Deco. Still Deco.
I think Illich is going to put it out to let Rankovic get some treatment. I thought it was a free kick, Dave. Absolutely cast down certain it was a free kick. And Rankovic hasn't moved since.
A chance to see the incident again, maybe. Crowd certainly don't like it. Here it is.
Well, you can see it's really high. It's Aloisio, and he takes him out very, very high. And I thought the referee missed that.
I suppose at least he's let the game flow, and that's the price you pay, that he's going to miss the odd thing.
I don't mind them making mistakes as long as they're consistent, as you say, Dave. And I'm sure he's not too pleased, though. He's been buzzing for most of the game, the little man, and he's got that goal. I'm sure he's going to have a dead leg either tonight or in the morning.
It's his goal that separates them. Lubisa Rankovic. I'm sure he'll want to resume. The ball returned by Porto. Into the last 25 minutes. Porto still haven't really looked at all threatening. This is Nelson. Touch from Nuno Capucho.
Well, to be fair, he is trying to push further forward. He's trying to support the front men. They're trying to get something going, and hang on, Drilovic isn't happy. The referee's overruled the linesman and give it the other way. Duliaj is quite happy with that decision.
And Rankovic is okay to continue, which is good news for Partizan. Now Nuno Capucho breaking forward. It was a poor touch, wasn't it?
Very poor first touch. And when you're down, you're really down, and things seem to work against you. And it's just coming on as a substitute. Needs 10-15 minutes to get into the game, but he mightn't be allowed 10 or 15 minutes.
Another Partizan throw.
Rankovic again. He's not moving as freely as he was before that high challenge from Aloisio. I wonder, will he finish the game, Dave?
He wouldn't be favourite to at the moment. Duliage to take the throw in here. A little bit of space for Trobok. That's Escudinha. Trobok wins it straight back though. Porto have given the ball away too much this evening. Now Sasa Ilic finding space where there wasn't any, and that's Ivic. And after Ilic's excellent approach play, the finish was anything but.
I think Rankovic has got to go off, Dave. He's really struggling. There's a little tug from Goran Trobok.
Drulovic does go down easily. Taken quickly, and Deco is nearly in there. Touch from Ivic. They do play some good stuff. Trobok.
They track the football inside. They keep the ball quite well, and they've won it back far too easy. And Porto have helped them to a certain extent because some of their passing's been poor and their movement's been poor. And I wonder, are they going to get away with just losing 1-0?
That would be something of a result for them, Jerry.
I think it would.
Here's Nuno Capucho.
They're far too easy for me.
Sensi's not happy with it.
Well, he tried to get across Duliaj, and here is the substitution.
Rankovic will go off to be replaced by Milorad Pekovic. Rankovic, what a performance from him. So Rankovic off and Pekovic on. Pekovic also a player who likes to get forward. Whether he can do with the same effect as Rankovic is another thing. That's Srkovic's ball in though. Sasa Ilic arriving this time. What a great ball that was from the right back.
Certainly was. Mind you, I actually feel if he had missed him out, went right to the far post. Look at the man at the far post. You can't see him in the picture, but he's just coming out the back stick, completely unmarked. But again, Ilic shows his quality. He is a wonderful, gifted footballer. Great touch and vision, and every so often he pops up in the box.
That was Ilic's ball, a little wayward. Now Nuno Capucho. George Costa. Touch from Drulovic. Ilic's ball again. There's loads of space with Goran Trobok this time. Iliev trying to get in the centre. Trobok gets a second chance. And plucked out of the air by Ovchinnikov. Partizan are so dominant. Nuno Capucho. It's Pizzi. Porto just can't seem to keep the ball at the moment.
Absolutely, they can't string 2 or 3 passes together. And
that's a great touch by Iliev. It's the substitute Pekovic now. Lovely little turn. No handball against Aloisio. Pekovic likes getting forward as much as Rankovic did.
Yes, he was the one that was at the far post looking for that cross, and he's a much bigger lad than Rankovic, and he could cause a few problems in the air if the service is right.
And Nuno Capucho. Can Porto nick a goal from somewhere? And he went down. And the referee whistled. What's he given here? Free kick to Porto.
Give him marks out of 10 for perseverance there, Capuccio.
And they have Drulovic with that left foot as well.
It looks like he's going to put one in with a bit of pace in, swinging. Is it a set play they're going to equalise from?
So Drulovic to take the free kick. Well, it was over everyone's head. You expected him to get that right into the danger area. Maybe they're going to get a second chance. Keeper comes. Oh, and he's dropped it, but the flag, or rather the whistle, has gone. And Ilic gets away with it.
Yeah, he does get away with it, because I think there's occasions when, as a goalkeeper, you've got to punch it. And there's other occasions when you can grab it, and that was one I think he got wrong. But very disappointing cross for me from Drulovic. Really was, David. There's not an awful lot about Porto that's pleased me tonight.
Porto preparing to bring another substitute on, the Russian, Dmitry Alenichev. Striker. Get something for them in the last quarter of an hour. Duliage valiantly preventing the corner. And this is Pizzi, but the whistle went against him. He's had a very frustrating evening.
Very frustrating. He's not really had a lot of service. He's not got into the game. Certainly for me, of the front two, Pena's worked a lot harder than him.
Talking of big clubs in trouble in the UEFA Cup tonight, we've told you already, Tirol Innsbruck 2-0 up over Fiorentina. Real Zaragoza 0, Wisla Krakow 1. Kaluzhny with the goal after a quarter of an hour.
You can see there it is Pizzi, who I think's been disappointing tonight, who's going to come off Dave, and I've no arguments with that.
Alenichev on to replace him. Whether he can make a difference for the last 15 minutes is another thing. He had to change something though in the attack, didn't he, Fernando Santos?
I think so. I think certainly, although Pizzi's not had any service, he could have worked a lot harder, and Pena's been the lone ranger for me up front tonight. Good defending though from Partizan.
Drulovic trying to win it back. Porto pushing for an equaliser. Partizan looking dangerous on the break, but hang on. That was a chance for Pena.
Certainly was.
It was a lot better than initially looked as well. And the grimace says everything, doesn't it?
Certainly was, and I think he knows that. They haven't had a much better opportunity than that all night. The goalkeeper staying on his line, Radis Ilic, and it was a mistimed header, I think, from Gerasimovsky. And as it fell, he took it on the volley, and he never really made proper contact.
We approach the last 10 minutes. Still, it's the goal from Lubisa Rankovic halfway through the first half that separates these sides. Vic is trying to stop Alenichev taking it quickly. This is Alenichev. Svidinia getting forward. Well, 10 out of 10 for the roll, but no free kick.
Absolutely. It's not been his day at all, has it?
So just over 10 minutes to go. Still, it's Partizan Belgrade 1, FC Porto 0. Drulovic having his shirt tugged. Also one of several sides potentially to suffer on an evening of UEFA Cup surprises. Surprises at the moment, anyway. Most notably Fiorentina 2 down at Tirol Innsbruck. Zaragoza 1-0 down at home against Wisla Krakow. Inter Milan being held by Rush Shortsau. The list goes on. Now Drulovic. It's Iliev. We'll catch up on all the UEFA Cup action. The new Eurosport news channel, which is available to you. Bang up to date with everything. So, you need to see 3 of this evening's games in more detail. The programme immediately following this one. This is Drulovic. He'll dink with his right foot. Predominantly left-footed though.
I think that was obvious from the cross there, but it was good movement, I've got to say, and it was a nice ball through. Just looked slightly better, marginally better for me than the last few minutes. Maybe the substitution, the fresh legs. Disappointing on the cross, though, we've got to say.
Drulovic coming on after half an hour to replace Chainho. Hasn't had the influence you'd maybe expected him to have had. He's a very good player for the Yugoslav national side. Scored in that memorable game against Slovenia, the 3-3 draw in Euro 2000. Pekovic, the Partizan substitute. Well, this is Pekovic. Trobok. Sasa Ilic. Ilic moving forward. Iliev's there as well. Intelligent use of the ball. Picking out Pekovic. What can he do with it? He went for power and probably on his wrong foot.
It was, but again, he's looked as if he's going to cause problems, and he's much bigger, as we said, from the man who replaced Rankovic. He's still posing a lot of problems. I actually think, to be honest, Dave, the coach Fernando Santos would probably be very happy to walk away with a 1-0 defeat here tonight, because they've been outplayed in every department.
And he knows they're still very much in the tie. And if you don't score away from home, it's always tough. Maybe they still will, though. This is a very promising position. What a chance for Jorge Costa, getting forward from the back. And it looked for all the world as if that was going in the top corner. Somehow he screwed it wide.
Well, it's probably their best movement of the game. Great ball in, near post. He tries to keep it down. And what an opportunity for Costa. The captain, and had an opportunity there to lead by example. I don't think they'll get a better opportunity than that.
What an important goal it would have been. Because you can argue that Partizan deserve more than 1-0,
yeah,
let alone only getting a draw out of the game. But still, Porto finished strongly here. 6 minutes to go. Keep flashing off to Austria, but it's fascinating. Tirolensbruck 3, Fiorentina 0. But then, just news coming in, Fiorentina have a goal back through Predrag Mijatovic after Gilovic had made it 3-0. But still a while to go in that game. Going to be a story, as is this. It's Nelson. Capuccio. And Deco. He's pretty much vanished from view in the second half.
He has.
Little Brazilian we expect a lot of. Still only young though, 23 years old.
Well, set plays can sometimes cause a lot of problems if the delivery's right here.
And it will be Drulovic to take it. And it's the better angle to make the cross. And that's an important header away by Gerasimovski. Maybe they can catch them on the break. Iliev. Run his heart out this evening, Iliev. If anyone deserves a goal, it's him. Nelson has got back. It's Escudinha. It's fabulous play from Ilic to get to the ball. Now Ivic. And a fair challenge to win it off Deco by Ivic. And Deco wins the free kick. That's brilliant play.
I'll tell you what, he's got himself out of jail twice. He's given the ball away without looking, made a fantastic recovery, then skipped over a couple of challenges and won a free kick right on the edge of the D. That's superb play.
And that has summed up Partizan's performance, well, battling for everything.
They've worked so hard in every department. I mean, they're all heroes. Personally, I'd pick out Čurković as my man of the match, but I mean, Ivic has been superb, Ilić has been superb, Iliev, Rankovic, take your pick. Gerazimovski at the back's been brilliant.
Little Duljaj has
had a good game. They've all had good games. Well, they have to have kept Porto under the cosh for so long.
Just about named the entire team there, haven't we? But they deserve it. Can they get some icing on the cake? It was Ivic. That was an important challenge. Might break for Trobok. And he wins the free kick. And if nothing else, this is running the clock down. 3 minutes to go. Partizan leading Porto by a goal to nil. It's arguably the nil that's more important.
Yep. You could see them maybe scoring a goal at Porto, but I fancy Porto to score a goal at home in Portugal. You know it's going to be a different game. And I think Tababovic will be disappointed if they can't get the second one.
Well, they are trying to get the second one. Duljaj. Put a bit of pressure on the Russian keeper, and he got away with that somewhat, Ovchinnikov. To the last 3 minutes then. Should be Ilic's. Point about the second leg were to stay 1-0. Should be whether they can hit them on the break, Partizan. Partizan have played so well on the break and have players of pace and pass the ball well, Jerry, that if Porto do come at them, then you maybe fancy them.
I think they've kept the ball much better than Porto tonight. Technically, they've got some very, very good players. The referee's given the free kick there for the feet up, the feet of Escudinha. But I just feel that they've been wonderful to watch in every department. They've defended well. They've got forward. There's been superb different patterns of play right throughout the whole 90 minutes, and I wouldn't have been surprised if they won the game by at least 2 or 3 goals. That's why I think Porto will be quite happy.
They've been worth 2 goals at least. This is Jeremic. Can't afford to give the ball to Porto at this late stage now. Hang on to this 1-0. Here's Aloisio. Again, straight down Ilic's throat.
There's poor surface in there all night, no matter who's come forward, whether it was Aloisio or Escudinha, George Costa, whoever. The service has been poor.
And the whistle going. Rather saved Aloisio, which had managed to get round. The flag was up.
The substitution's going to be made as well.
It's going to be Velimir Ivanovic to come on, and he replaces Iliev, who's going to get a deserved round of applause.
He's worked his socks off, hasn't he?
He will do so again in Portugal in the second leg. Now Escudinha. Maybe they can create something late on. It's Capucho. Oh, and it's been turned in. And it's Pena. Well, Partizan just went to sleep right in the closing seconds. And Porto have an equaliser they surely don't deserve.
Well, they don't deserve it, but that's the best cross he's put in tonight. Escudinha, and then the overhead kick for the hardest working player I think that Porto have had. Pena, little knockback here by the substitute, Capucho. And they've stole a result. What a result that could turn out to be for them.
And is that going to be the goal that takes Porto through? Plenty of work to be done, but Partizan will be so sick at that. 3 minutes of added time.
Oh, what a time to score, Dave. After playing so well, they've gone to sleep for 1 second. And Escudinha, we're saying about, hasn't put one cross in tonight. All of a sudden he gets a great ball in. Capucho at the back post, and Pena steals one. It's heartbreak, isn't it, from Tupabovic and the Partizan lads, but it's got Fernando Santos out of jail.
It certainly has, because he's been under so much pressure in Portugal. It's really hard on Partizan, and it's the psychological edge it gives Porto more than anything now, isn't it?
Well, at home they know 1-1, you've got to fancy them to go through. And they certainly don't deserve to be 1-1 in this game. But football can be cruel sometimes. And again, I think certainly Partizan should have scored the all-important second goal.
Well, they had their chances. There was a fine save by Ovchinnikov from Iliev. Remember, Jorge Costa missed that chance as well. It wasn't as if Partizan didn't have a warning 3 or 4 minutes ago.
I think that chance that Jorge Costa missed was a lot easier than the one that Pena just put in.
It was a great finish of the overhead kick, to be fair.
Yeah, his perseverance has been rewarded. He has really run his socks off tonight. Not had a lot of joy, and he's coming away with a goal now.
Partizan have dominated to such an extent. Been really unlucky. There's Capucho. There's still 40 seconds of playing time left. Surely they can't steal a second here, Porto.
Well, that really would be rubbing salt in the wounds, wouldn't it?
Deco over it, also Drulovic. It'll be the in-swinger. What's the referee suggesting?
It's not where the ball should have been, I think.
Another substitution. Another one for Partizan as well. Stanojevic to come on. And off goes Jurkovic. Strange time to make a substitution right at the end, taking a defender off. Ball in from Drulovic. Held by Ilic.
I think Tubovic is looking to score another goal if they can in the last 60 seconds. Obviously, he's disappointed they've conceded that goal. And the advantage has definitely swung Porto's way.
Stanojevic, the striker, not getting a touch of the ball, and there is the final whistle. And whistles around the Partizan Stadium. A really good performance by Partizan Belgrade. They led 1-0 after the goal by Rankovic halfway through the first half, but right at the end, in injury time, Pena with an equaliser for Porto is the away goal and could be the crucial goal that takes them through to the next round. There's still a big game to come in Porto. Partizan will have to lift themselves so much, such a blow at the end of the game. And can they do that? Really tough luck. Iliev had a chance. Ilic was excellent in the second half. So many heroes for Partizan, but credit to Porto for plugging on and on. That's the Partizan goal. Looked like being the winning goal from Rankovic, but turned out that Porto got an equaliser. Turned home by